Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where we're working together step by step through each of the ABRSM theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. They're available in US letter or A4 to accompany each step of this series. There's also a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also access information about some books that I have available. I've written How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory exam for grades 4 and 5, and it's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to best make use of the time once you're in the exam room. So if you visit sharonbill.com, it's all there. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab. Subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's loads more to come. And now we're going to turn to section H, as I refer to in these PDF documents. If you refer to section H, we're going to be looking at intervals, and that relates to pages 26 onwards in that section in your workbook. So we just have a quick look at the introductory section here. So have a good read through this page here, and you'll see at the bottom of the page the new information is that we're now going to include augmented and diminished intervals as well. So we're going to sort of look at how to chromatically change these intervals in much smaller increments. And so perhaps it's just easy to summarise that just because we're in a certain key signature doesn't mean that we're going to be thinking in either particularly major or minor. We can have combinations of major and minor intervals in both scales. I think the important thing to notice is that you always count the lowest note in an interval as your first degree of the scale, regardless of the key signature. And I think we can perhaps best explain these augmented and diminished intervals if I just grab a sheet of manuscript paper, and we'll just have a little look at this in close detail before we crack on with the exercises. And so let's just think in treble clef, and we'll think in the key of C major as our starting note. So I think you'll agree with me straight away that that's a third. So also is that, and so also is that. So there we go. And we know it's a third because we've gone 1, 2, 3 steps each time. So this one we would call a major third. Just sketch that in, because E is part of the C major scale. So C, D, E, that E is a major third from that bottom note. So if we change this by lowering it by a semitone, so now we've made the major third smaller and the smaller interval is the minor third, and we know that also because C minor has E flats in the scale. So we know that that's a minor third, so there's nothing new there. However, let's now raise that, so it's still a third, 1, 2, 3, but we've raised it, so we've gone from a major interval and then gone even higher. We've extended that interval, and that would be an augmented third. Now it's not the same as, although it would sound like a note F, it's not the same harmonically speaking, because C, D, E, F is a fourth, whereas this is definitely an interval of some third. So the sharp raises it to an augmented third, which, although it sounds the same, is named differently because it's a different harmonic context. Let's look at fourths. Now fourths and fifths and octaves are perfect, so there's no major or minor divisions. So let's now give ourselves some fourths. So C to F is a fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try another one. That's a fourth. So also is that. So we know that that's a perfect fourth because it falls in with the major and the minor scale. So there's nothing new there. So if we have an F flat, we've made it smaller. There's no major or minor, and so that would be a diminished fourth. And then if we raise it, there's no major or minor, we've gone from perfect straight to augmented fourth. So although, for example, here that may sound the same as this, in this context we'd call it a major third, and we know that F flat is the same key or sound as E. However, harmonically speaking, we're talking about different harmonic intervals. That's definitely a fourth of some description. That's definitely a third of some description. So it's a matter of counting the steps and then deciding upon the chromatic alterations, really. Now, half marks will be just counting the interval 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you get fourth, that's half of your marks already achieved, and then the other half of the mark is whether you get the diminished or the minor and so on accurate. So now let's look at some exercises. So if you turn the page and turn with me to exercise 1, and we'll work through what's been explained in all of this previous information. I've written some steps in the PDF sheet as well to help you, and so I'm just going to work through in step, as I've written here, how to decide how to work out these intervals. And I think it's something that it's just easy to have a go at. You could spend a long time kind of revising and reading all this information. However, I do suggest once you've had a little look through it, it's probably better to just have a go and learn by your mistakes. So I suggest that I work through some of these with you, then as soon as you feel confident you can hit pause and try a few on your own, and then re-access into the video and check your answers and keep sort of trying and having a go, and then learn as you go along. So then, let's have a look at this first example here that they've given us. Now we've got a B flat, so it's irrelevant really what key we're in here. What we need to consider is this B flat here is our key note, our tonic. And so we're just bearing in mind the key signature only to tell us which flats or sharps apply. So we know we've got a third of some sort, 1, 2, 3. And then we know that B flat major has a D in it, therefore it's part of the major scale, and we know it's a major third. So let's look at the next one, and let's just take this in steps. So we're in the bass clef, we've got F sharps as a key signature, however we're thinking of B as our tonic here. So first of all, we know that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we know that we've got a fifth of some sort, so there's half marks straight away. And now we know that we're going from B to F sharp, and that will be a perfect fifth because it's part of the major and the minor key. There's been no chromatic alterations there. Let's have a look at this next one. So here we've got a key signature of B flats, but our tonic, our first, is a D. So let's count the interval first of all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know that it's a sixth of some sort or other. Now we need to consider, would D major have a B flat in it? Don't forget that the key signature applies, and so this is a B flat, and B flat is part of the scale of D minor. D major would not have a B flat in it, therefore it's a minor sixth. There we go. Let's try this next one. So we've got no key signature to bear in mind, we just need to count the intervals starting on this B. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we know that it's a fifth. Now we know that B to F sharp is our perfect fifth, so in actual fact it's the absence of a sharp here that's creating the chromatic alteration. We know that a F sharp would be perfect, and so because this is F natural, we've made it smaller, so we've gone from perfect, we've made it smaller, so that means it's diminished. There we go. So if you want to hit pause and try the next row by yourself, and then re-access into the video, and then we'll work through them together. Doesn't matter if you go wrong. We're only ever writing in pencil. Have your eraser to hand and you can always have another go. So I'm hoping that you've had a go of this yourself. And so let's crack on with this next row. So straight away we know before we even think of anything, we've got a third of some sort. 1, 2, 3. So that's half the job done. Now we've got a key signature of F sharps and C sharps, so actually we're counting from C sharp as our first. Now C sharp is a hard note to think of. It's quite tricky to work out as this C sharp major, C sharp minor. It's kind of a bit impossible. So if you first of all think, well, if that was a C natural, C to E would be a major third. But then because we've raised the lower note, what we've actually done is made the interval smaller. We've raised the lower note, and so we've gone from major to minor because the lower note has been raised. So that would be a minor third. And also you know that C sharp minor would have an E natural in it. You could double check it that way. But it's easier to just change the lower note, adding the key signature in afterwards to work out that that bottom note has been raised. Let's crack on. So here, 1, 3, 5, 6, we've got a sixth of some sort, so that's half marks. And now we've got B as our first, and we're going from B to G sharp, and we know that G sharp is part of the major scale, and so that would be a major sixth. There we go. Here, let's count the interval first. 1, 3, 5, 7. That's a seventh. Counting space, 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 space. It's just easier skipping that, or you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if you prefer that way. And again, we've got a key signature of F, C, G sharps. So this bottom note is an F sharp. It's quite tricky to think, is this F sharp major or minor? So let's first of all think, if this was F natural to E, it would be a major seventh. And then because we've raised the lower note, which has made the interval smaller, so we've gone from major to minor, so that's a minor seventh. Let's have a go at this last one here. And so we've got a 1, 3, 4, we've got a fourth of some sort. Now let's just think about what we've got here. We've got our lowest note is an E flat because of the key signature, and then we've got an A natural here. So in actual fact, it's the absence of any flat that's going to cause the problems, because E flat major and minor would have an A flat in it. And so because that A flat has been raised to a natural just by the absence of a flat, we've actually made the interval bigger, and so we've got an augmented fourth there. So we've gone from perfect, and then we've raised it a semitone and it's become augmented. There we go. So I'm hoping that that's been a good start to you. I do appreciate that it takes quite a bit of getting used to, and so I suggest that what we do is that we leave that for this video, and then you have a go at the next section, and then in the next video I'll go over the remainder of this exercise with you once you've had a go yourself. So please do have a go, and then come back into the next video, part B, and we'll finish those together. I do hope that's been helpful to you. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab, and please subscribe to my channel to keep updated. And please do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all the resources available to help you there. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.